Hello and welcome once again to the Hard Brexit scenario on Football Manager 2020, where the UK has left UEFA and has been left to fend for itself, creating its own Champions League, a new league system in the process. And it's the start of a new season. In fact, we're a month into the new season because the World Cup overran by a month or so, meaning we've skipped directly to the second episode of the season, unlike usually. Usually we start in August, but we're going to go straight to September and we're going to have a look. We're going to start off by looking at the Champions League draws and the first few match days, it seems. So starting with the Brexit Champions League. The groups are drawn as follows. So in Group A, Lincoln, Everton, Dunfermline, Bangor City, and FC Lakers. So the two examples that I used for the title of the Champions episode, Everton and FC Lakers, are in the same group, and no doubt Everton probably smashed them. 6-0, there you go. So it started well for Lincoln. Everton 3 points behind with a game in hand. Group B, Norwich City, Gillingham, Swansea City, North Village Rams and FC St John's. Two of the Caribbean sides in there, meaning probably one of them will get a decent result. Norwich topping the group so far. Group C, Peterborough United, Leicester City, Hereford, Glenavon and St Clement from Jersey. And that one sees Peterborough top so far, 3 points clear of Leicester, who have a game in hand, as do Hereford, who are on the same points as well. In Group D, Bournemouth, Dungannon Swifts, Queen of the South, Ipswich and Peros Banhos. And that one, the team you'd expect to be top, is top. Bournemouth, 4 points clear at the top, although have played a game more than everyone else. Group E, Bristol City, Yeovil Town, Truro City, Newry City, and Ueno Island. Unsurprisingly, they've lost every game. Bristol City, on the other hand, have won every game and are top by 3 points ahead of Yeovil and Truro. Group F, Arsenal. In their first Brexit Champions League campaign. They are top of the group with Dundee and MK Dons 6 points behind them. Merthyr Town and Islanders both on 0 points in 4th and 5th. Group G, Watford, Kilmarnock, Plymouth Argyle, Darlington and Ballers. Watford lead the way there, as you can see. In Group H, Stoke City, Southend United, Barrow, Newtown and the Reds from Antarctica. And that one, we can see there that Stoke have got an 8-0 win over the Reds, so not too surprising. Refera Reds, to be more precise. In Group I, Southampton are top. They are 3 points clear of Mansfield and Swindon Town. Ballymena United are in there, and rounding it all off, Full Physic, although Ballymena United are on equal points with Full Physic. It seems that those two teams drew in the opening game, or not in the opening game, in a match. Was it the opening game? It was the opening game, actually, so funny. Either way, Man City, in their return to the Brexit Champions League since the first season, they are top of the group, 3 points clear of Newport County and St Mirren. Then it's Cardiff City and Enclave United. Group K, Burnley, Aberdeen, Coleraine, Stratford, again in the Brexit Champions League. They just can't stop winning that Warwickshire League. They have won one match against Coleraine. Team who haven't won a match, Douglas Royal from the Isle of Man at the bottom there. In Group L, Newcastle United, Crewe Alexandra, Kidderminster Harriers, Linfield and Aberaeron. And that's in order. So Newcastle are top on goal difference, 6 goals ahead of, or 8 goals ahead more to be more precise, from Crewe Alexandra. Group M, Derby County, Oxford United, Hibernian, Gala Fairydean Rovers and Academy from the Cayman Islands, and Derby County leading the way there with 10 points. Group N, Luton Town, Shrewsbury Town, Tweedmouth, Woking and Guernsey, and Luton Town are top there by 3 points. Group O, Reading, Ross County, Wrexham, Northampton and House Bashers. House Bashers avoided all the big teams once again, but they haven't been avoiding defeats. They've been beaten in every game so far out of the 4 they've played. Group P, Celtic, Alloa Athletic, Aston Villa, Motherwell and Europa FC, 3 Scottish teams. Alloa Athletic not doing too badly in their first attempt at the Brexit Champions League. They're in second at the moment. The only defeat coming against Celtic. They've beaten Aston Villa as well. That's great results for them. Group Q: Brighton and Hove Albion, St Johnstone, Huddersfield Town, Ballina United, and Leith Harbour. And that one sees Brighton top of the table so far with 9 points, 2 points clear of St Johnstone. So, what about the Empire League? The draw for that is as follows. Group A: Hearts, Ebbsfleet, Leighton, Peterhead, and Beaches, with Hearts and Ebbsfleet both top at the moment with 9 points each. Hearts leading it on goal difference. Group B: Barwell, Crawley, Sunderland, Portadown, Cape Sevgari. Barwell top of that one by 2 points, surprisingly. Losing to Crawley, but they've beaten Sunderland 1-0, so clearly they have been strengthening their squad. Could they be challenging in Leicestershire soon? Group C: Cambridge, Wickham, Maidenhead, PHC, Zebras, and Laxey. And that we have Cambridge and Wickham both on 9 points, both on 6 goal difference. Cambridge leading it on goals scored. Group D: Rangers, Hamilton, Stranraer, Kinnoul, and Undy. 4 Scottish teams in that group. And Rangers are the best one so far on 9 points. Group E: Nottingham Forest, Burton Albion, Ards, Connors Quay, and Godfrey. And with Nottingham Forest clearly leading the way there with 6 points clear, but they have played a game more than everyone else. Hartlepool, Leamington, Vale of Leven, Bellboys, and Guilsfield are Group F. Hartlepool top with 12 points at the moment. Dundee United atop of Group G, also with 12 points. They are clear of Larne Crusaders, Greens, and Llanelli. No wins for the Antarctic team yet, though. Group H: Colchester, Redditch, Ayr United, Barry Town United, and Nelson's Island. In fact, 4 of those teams are Uniteds: Colchester, Redditch, Ayr, and Barry. That's pretty kind of cool, I suppose. Colchester are top on 10 points. Group I: Wolverhampton Wanderers, Macclesfield Town, Weymouth, Bodmin, and Pennybont. And that has Wolves and Macclesfield both on 9 points. Wolves leading the way on goal difference so far. Group J: Carlisle, Morton, Galston, Blythe, and Mons Calpe. Another 2 teams with 9 points at the top there. Carlisle taking it on goal difference for the time being. Group K: Falkirk, Brackley, Inverness, Caledonian Thistle, Malvina House Hotel, and the Sugar Boys. Falkirk top by 2 points. Group L: Chesterfield, Sheffield United, Poulton Rangers or Rovers? Rovers, Scholars, and Sylvans. And Chesterfield and Sheffield United both on 9 points at the moment, but Chesterfield taking it on goal difference, although they've played a game extra and lost it to Sheffield United. So if it was down to head-to-head, Sheffield United would be top. But it's not, it's down to goal difference because it's not UEFA. In Group M, Manchester United are top of the group, only on goal difference though, ahead of Stevenage. Then Salisbury, Westfields, and Lisbon United make up the rest of the group. Group N, another big team with Chelsea. They top their group, 3 points clear of Bristol Rovers. Then it's Oxford City, Neath, and Roaring Lions. Group O, they've been relegated, if you will, to the Empire League. Liverpool, they are top of the group, 6 points clear of TNS. They've also got Dorking, Bala, and Henderson Island in that group. Group P, Blackburn and Torquay both on 7 points. Blackburn leading it on goal difference. East Fife, Bury, and PC United are the other teams in the group. And finally, Group Q, Grimsby Town, Portsmouth, Institute, Dergview, and St Peter. And Grimsby are top with that one on 12 points. In the Cup Winners' Cup, quick look at the draw there. Group A will be Guernsey, Kilmarnock, Sugar Boys, and Tweedmouth. Group B, Europa, Flamingo, Man City, and North Village Rams. I can't see Man City losing any of those games by more. Well, can't see them winning it by anything less than 5-0 each match. And Group C, Ballers, Cardiff, Coleraine, and Georgetown. If Man City don't win that tournament, I would be very surprised. But yes, we will cover that a little further down the line because that doesn't actually start until late December, early January. How about real Europe? Let me see how the UEFA Champions League looks. And we'll have a look at the group stage draw. So Group A, Bayer Leverkusen, Dundalk, Hapoel Beersheva, and HJK from Finland. Group B, Inter Milan, LASK, Shakhtar, and Valencia. Group C, Anderlecht, Bayern Munich, Porto, and Real Madrid. There's a bit of a group of death for you. There's another one near the bottom. Group D, Fenerbahce, Ferencváros, Krasnodar, and PSG. PSG missing out on the group of death for the first time in a while. So they should find it pretty easy to make it through that group. Group E, Barcelona, Doxa Katokopias of Cyprus, Olympia Ljubljana from Slovenia, and Valur of Iceland. So Barcelona should breeze through that one. Group F, Dunstrada. What does the Dun mean? Oh, it's FKDAC 1904 Dunajska Strada of Slovakia, Panathinaikos, Sarajevo and Benfica. Group G, Dynamo Zagreb, Hertha Berlin, Lyon and Red Star. That's a low-key group of death. And finally, Group H, here's your proper group of death. Atletico Madrid, Ajax, Borussia Dortmund and Juventus. Now that is quite a group. And just think, 2 of those teams will go out, yet one of these teams in Group F will go through. There's also, they've had a qualifying round, and obviously some, because of how crap I am at editing, some of the bigger teams may have gone out in the qualifying round. So let's just take a quick scan and see if any of the big teams did go out. PSV went out to Krasnodar. Monaco were eliminated by Valencia. CSK Moscow beaten by Anderlecht. Basel beaten by Shakhtar. Roma were beaten by compatriots Juventus. And those are the big ones that have gone out. How about in the Europa League? The group stage draw looks as follows. Group A, Celje of Slovenia, Marseille, Servette and Sporting Lisbon. Group B, Feyenoord, Getafe, Maritimo and Hoffenheim. Group C, Ghent, Napoli, PAOK and St. Pölten of Austria. Group D, Hajduk Split, Freiburg, Zenit St. Petersburg and Zelenia of Slovakia. Group E, AZ Alkmaar, CFR Cluj, Eibar and Galatasaray. Eibar going up a tournament this year. They were in the Europa Conference League. Now they've gone up to the Europa League this time. Group F, Athletic Bilbao, Haugesund, Lazio and Legia Warsaw. Group G, Dynamo Kiev, AC Milan, Slovan Bratislava and Spartak Moscow. So that's the holders. AC Milan have got a decent enough group for them, I'd say, this time. And Group H, Kaysar of Kazakhstan, Maccabi Haifa, Rennes and Young Boys of Switzerland. And Europa Conference League, we'll have a look at that one as well. Group A, Derry City, Utrecht, Olympiacos and Tobol of Kazakhstan. So we have an Irish team in there that's technically a Northern Irish team, but we don't need to go into that. That's theirs. That's an issue that's not for me to look into. Group B, FC Lati, Stjarnan, Werder Bremen and Torino. Group C, Deportivo La Coruña, Grasshoppers, Sarpsborg and Siroki Brigeg. Group D, Ermis Aradipu of Cyprus, Titograd of Montenegro, Trnava and Zeleznica. Group E, Arsenal Tula, Birkirkara of Malta, Ujpest and Universitatea Craiova. Also, Group F, Jagiellonia, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Slutsk and Trabzonspor. Group G, AIK, is it Stockholm or something? AIK, just AIK apparently. Austria, Vienna, Milsami Orhai and Alexandria. And finally, in Group H, Luftetari of Albania, Slavia Prague, Vitoria Guimarães and Vaslan Beveren. So an interesting few groups there. Anyone could win it. You never know. It's missing is it missing the French team? I think the French team have been eliminated in qualifying. Nice were beaten by Torino, and that's the problem with my editing. The bigger teams can go out, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for these countries because they're the ones in the scenario. And what we're going to do now, we're not going to look at the tables because it's too early in the season to care that much. Instead, we're going to have a look at the transfers, what happened in the January transfer window, who were the big spenders this time. In fact, let's go to Scotland first. Scotland and Wales. Give a very quick trip through Scotland and Wales transfers, just in case they've been spending money. So biggest signing there is 3.9, 7 million, but that's coming out. 6.5 is the biggest one coming in from AC Milan though. So Kilmarnock getting the big money spent. 5 million for Falkirk, biggest money there. Not even $500,000 there. 3.1 million in Fife. Glasgow. 22 million Celtic bought Victor Fisher from Liverpool, and 18 million they bought Andres Pereira from Man U. 11 points. So Celtic have been spending money. Rangers' biggest one was Joshua King going from West Brom to Rangers. So there's a little bit of money going around in Glasgow. Grampian though, Aberdeen, 27 million on Lewis Fiorini of Man City, 12 million for Rob Nizzet of Norwich, and 9 million for Catalin Kilian of Arsenal. So Aberdeen are splashing the cash. Biggest one going into the Highlands is 4.6, 2 million coming into Lanarkshire, 9.75 million in Lothian. Does St Johnstone even need to buy players? They have the easiest league, I'd say, out of all the big teams. Renfrewshire, St Mirren spending 8.75 million, and in the Scottish Borders, not even $500,000 there. In Wales, do we have any big money spending in Wales? Obviously, they don't get as much money in prize money, so you can't blame them for not spending too much. Clwyd, Wrexham, 64,000 is the biggest one coming in. 115, and that's not even coming in. Biggest one coming in, I think it might be that one. Not much is coming in Dyfed. Gwent, 600,000. Gwynedd, 27,500. This is disappointing, isn't it? Mid Glamorgan, not much. Powys, not much. South Glamorgan, Cardiff, not Cardiff, only 160,000 for Yasser Larousi from Hearts. That's the biggest one there. And Swansea, are you gonna do it for it? Not even $500,000 for Swansea. Wales has been disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. What about England? England, where the big money is. We had a bit of a peek at this one earlier, so you probably already knew. Luton, 26 million they spent on Alexander Isaac from Real Sociedad, and 17.75 million spent on Marlos Moreno from Middlesbrough, and 12.75 million on Rui Patricio. They're shoring up that defence by putting a decent goalie. I don't know if he's world class, but he's decent. No big signings for anyone outside of Luton though. What about Berkshire, Reading, Hakan Calhanoglu, 4th place in the World Cup, and he's signed a big money move from Man United to Reading. They've also spent 14.75 million on Morgan Gibbs-White. Sead Kolasinac has joined Reading as well from Manchester, and they've signed a couple of Man U players for 12.5 million, which probably makes up for them losing all the Leeds players. Reading spending the cash. Bristol and Gloucestershire. Bristol City spent 25 million on Ben Wilmot from Watford, while Forest Green spent 22.5 million on Callum Slattery from Southampton. Plus, Bristol City have spent more money on Wolves and Aroma and Patrick Schick from Roma. And Bristol Rovers getting in the act as well with 7.75 million signing of Matt Olasunde. Plenty of signings in Bristol and Gloucestershire. What about in Buckinghamshire? MK Dons, 11.5 million for Lewis Wing and 8 million for Ross Sykes. So not too much. The biggest signing's only 11.5. That's disappointing compared to the rest. Cambridgeshire. That's more like it. Cambridge signing Aaron Ramsey from Aston Villa. Didn't even know he joined Aston Villa for 24.5 million. Could go up to 30.5 million. He's still commanding those transfers. Cambridge also signing Cian Flanagan from Reading and Matt Casey from Portsmouth for decent money too. Peterborough are the next biggest one. Patrick Roberts from Reading for 10 million and Shea Ojo from Burnley for 10 million. So decent money going in Cambridgeshire. Cheshire. We'll ignore that top one because that's for a different county. The biggest one coming is 9.75 million, 9 million, 8.75 million, 8.5. So, excuse me, that was a message. For me, not for you though. So Crewe and Macclesfield have just been splashing the cash there, pretty much. Cornwall, Truro. Now that is a nice couple of signings. They've signed Lewis Richardson for 33.5 million from Burnley and Nelson Kumbeni for 30 million from Norwich. Now that's definitely them splashing their newfound cash. Cumbria, Carlisle United, 22.5 million for Mark Seal from Leeds. They've also signed Connor Wickham, but not for an impressive amount, so we won't worry too much about that. Carlisle looking to try and close that gap on Barrow after a gap had appeared last season. Derbyshire, John McGinn from Manchester United to Derby County for 30.5 million. Plus, they've signed Sualio Mate from Leicester for 18.5 million, and Luke Shaw from Man U for 13 million. Which makes up for them losing all these players for big money as well. Chesterfield, big signing, 6.25 million for Ed Watmouth, or Watmouth, I don't know how you pronounce it. Devon, Torquay United, 32.5 million for Albion Kokaj. Or Chokaj, I imagine it's pronounced. Plymouth, not to be outdone, 26 million on Jamie Hansen from Portsmouth, and also spending a fair bit on James Talbot and Jimmy Baxter. Sorry. Exeter have spent a lot as well, but not as much on a couple of players. So the big three in Devon all showing off what they got. Dorset, Bournemouth losing Angelino to PSG for 53 million. That's a decent bit of money to go with the 80 million they seem to be getting every year. And with that money, they've bought James Rodriguez from Man U and Douglas Costa from Man U for 37.5 million and 26 million respectively. And they've also lost a few players. But their rivals haven't really strengthened as much as they have, so it doesn't really matter. Durham, Hartlepool, 10.5 million for Stan Dawson of Newcastle and 7 million for Calvin Ughelumba of Kilmarnock. Darlington, they've also made a signing, but not quite as much. Hartlepool wanting to regain the Durham Premier Division title. Essex, Colchester United have signed Anthony Farley from Aston Villa for 20.5 million. Could lead to 25 million. Southend, their big signings, 14.5 million for Edouard Sobol from Luton. Colchester and Southend, they've also been signing several more players for an average of about 11-12 million each. So decent money going about in Essex. Greater London, these are the impressive ones. Chelsea, they're looking to regain the Greater London Premier Division title, so they've signed Jadon Sancho for 91 million and Sergej Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio for 89 million. So 180 million on two players alone. But they have lost Claude Ajampong and Marcus Alonso. They've signed Joe Gomez from Liverpool, though, for 34.5 million. Issa Diop's left West Ham for PSG for big money, but they've replaced him with Theo Hernandez for 30 million. Chelsea have also bought Piatek from Milan for 30 million. And Arsenal have lost a couple of players, including Mavropanos to Juventus for 27 million. Who else we got here? Coming in, Fernando Pacheco for 17.5 million to Spurs. Leyton Orient back in the league, and they've signed Conor Burgess from Chelsea for 16.75 million. So they've got some money themselves. Arsenal have also signed Morato. We got Mahmoud Dahoud has joined West Ham from Norwich. Dean Henderson has signed for Arsenal from Man U. Benica Fobe's left Spurs to go to Russia. Brentford signed Ryan Woods. And Fulham have signed Kun Temenuskov from PSG. Palace have signed Easy from QPR. And so on and so forth. There's so many big money transfers in London, I can't go through all of them. What about Greater Manchester? There's bound to be big money here. Leon Bailey has left Bayer Leverkusen for Manchester United for 87 million, and his Bayer Leverkusen teammate Jonathan Tah has also joined him at Man U for 61 million. At the same time, though, Man City have bought a couple of big money signings. Rodrigo Bentancur from Juventus for 83 million, and Ruben Dias from Benfica for 52 million. And in the same time, though, Erling Haaland has left Man City to go back to... Was he at Borussia Dortmund on the game? Previously, or did he go straight to Red Bull Salts? See, in real life, he went to Borussia Dortmund. He did in this one. It's just he took him an extra year to do it. Man U have signed a couple of players from French teams, so Renan Lodi and Houssem Aouar from PSG and Lyon respectively. João Cancelo has left Man City to go to Barcelona for 44.5 million. Harry Maguire has left. We'll cover that one in a moment when we do Norfolk. Ndidi and Felipe have left Man City for Real Madrid for 38 million each. We've already covered James Rodriguez. We'll cover the next one after that when we go for Norfolk. Any other ones outside of the UK? Tahith Chong has joined Lazio for 28.5 million. Luis Fiorini, we already knew about that one, with Aberdeen getting probably the biggest signing in Scotland. Those two we've already covered. We'll cover that one later as well. Man City have signed Kamil Grabara from Liverpool for 18.75 million. And well, there's just a lot of money going around in Greater Manchester as well. And so we'll move on to Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, where Portsmouth have the biggest signing coming in. Luke Thomas from Crewe for 31 million. Southampton have signed Tosin Adarabioyo from Arsenal for 27.5 million. And they've also signed Elias Sorensen from Newcastle for 25 million. Southampton have also signed Ryan Fraser for 23 million. But they've lost Bednarek and Slattery for 22.5 million each. But they've signed Andre Green. We're going down this one by one, so there's ones I'm probably going to miss. John Swift has joined Portsmouth from Bristol City for 11.25 million. Southampton have lost a few players, and we'll leave it at there. There might be a couple more underneath, but there's plenty going around, clearly. Hereford, they've not needed to make a big signing. The biggest one is 3.4 million for Ethan Walker from Preston, so we won't spend too much time on them. Hertfordshire, Watford, will cover that top one later, which is an interesting one indeed, but we'll cover that one when we do Suffolk. The biggest signing for Watford is 31.5 million for Jake Vokins from Southampton. But at the same time, they've lost Ismail Assar, Ben Wilmot, and Gerard Delafeu. Stevenage have spent 13.75 million on Nick Fisher from Barnsley, which is a good, interesting signing there. Aaron Hickey and Omar Richard have left Watford, as well as Roberto Pereira. Boreham Wood have signed Danny Eccles for 6.25 million. So the big three teams in Hertfordshire are all spending some money. Not as much as the bigger one, but they're spending millions, which is nice to see. In Kent, Gillingham, they've signed Joe Bryan from Celtic for 21.5 million, Juan Foyth from Spurs for 21 million, James Tavernier from Rangers for 13 million, and Ivan Cavallero from Celtic for 12 million. They're signing Celtic and Rangers players and forming them into one. Meanwhile, Ebbsfleet have spent 12.5 million on Lewis Hendy from Salford, which is a great to see, and 8 million on Alex Matthews from Derby. Meanwhile, Maidstone have spent 8.25 million on Michael Chalmers from Coventry. So some of the other teams are spending money. Dover as well. They've spent 6.75 million on Dean Gordon from Millwall. So this is interesting seeing those teams spending the money. Lancashire, we already know about that top one, with Burnley losing Lewis Richardson to Truro for big money. The biggest signing by a Lancashire team is Burnley, 16.5 million for Foussini Diabate from Norwich. Fleetwood have spent 15.75 million on Huddersfield's Jayden Brown, while Blackburn have the next highest one coming in for Jordan Ibe from Middlesbrough for 14.25 million. Blackpool have taken Levi Colwill from Chelsea for 13.25 million. While Burnley have lost a couple of players, Blackburn have signed Ivan Sunjic from Southampton for 9.25 million. Accrington also getting on the act, 9 million for Charlie Noakes. And they've also signed Aaron Drinan from Charlton for 8.75 million, and so on and so forth. There's lots of money going around in Lancashire. Leicestershire and Rutland. Leicester's they're the only ones that seem to be making big money signings. They signed Federico Valverde from AC Milan for 33 million, Gerard Delafeu from Watford for 19 million, and Wulker Fariñas from Arsenal for 13.25 million. They've also lost Mate, Vecino, Danny Ward, and Lesha and Kowalczyk. And Zika and Will Ross. They've lost a few players. Barwell and Colville. They've signed players, but not for much. 2.75 million for a player actually. So they've signed something. Lincolnshire, 16.25 million. The big money there. Josh Martin leaving Norwich to go to Scunthorpe. Grimsby have also spent 15.25 million on Ryan Steer from Accrington. Plus Lincoln have bought a few players too. Romeo from Southampton, Dreyer from Ross County, Kearney from Fulham, which is a very good signing, and Lewis Baker from Peterborough, all going to Lincoln. Plus Darren Sellens going to Grimsby, and those players going there. There's the big three in Lincolnshire spending their money. In Merseyside, Liverpool's big signing is Nicolo Moro from Napoli for 33 million. They've also signed Andrija Balic from Udinese for 14.5 million. Champions Everton, nowhere to be seen on those signings, but they have lost Bernard and Gylfi Sigurdsson to Zenit St Petersburg and Aston Villa, but we'll cover the Aston Villa one later. Liverpool have lost Youssef Attal to PSG for 37 million and Joe Gomez for 34.5 million, and they've sold Victor Fisher, Kamil Grabara and Manuel Locatelli for over 15 million each as well. Plus these players too, but it looks more that Liverpool have been strengthening and not Everton, so maybe Liverpool are looking to get back that Merseyside Premier Division title. Norfolk and Norwich have definitely been spending it and gaining it as well, looking at it. They've signed Harry Maguire, William Carvalho, Danny Carvajal, for 39.5 million, 36 million, 31 million respectively, plus Oscar from SIPG as well for 20.5 million. And that will probably make up for losing all of these players. They've sold quite a few. They've also bought Jordan Veretout from Roma for 9.25 million. Wroxham are probably the team with the biggest signing outside Norwich for 2.5 million, Aidan Messias. So at least someone's spending something. But Norwich, I see them doing well in both League and Champions League if they're making signings like that. Northamptonshire. Northampton have signed Glenn Rea for 21 million from Coventry, and they've also signed Jaden Fevrier from West Ham, Danny Bath, or how you pronounce it, from Shrewsbury, and well, only the top two are really the big money signings. The rest is for under 5 million. We don't need to worry about that, do we? Northumberland, biggest signing there's 875,000. So. Oh, we'll leave that alone, shall we? Nottinghamshire, Mansfield, the reigning champions, have spent 14 million on Dale Fry from Brentford. Nottingham Forest, though, not to be outdone, 12.25 million on Christoph Zimmerman from Norwich. Mansfield, though, have signed a couple of other players for that same price, or one player for that same price, Sean Hammond from Middlesbrough, plus 12 million for Jairo Riedewald from Leeds. Notts County, their biggest signing, 8.75 million for Drew Yearwood. Mark Albrighton's joined Nottingham Forest from Huddersfield, 7.25 million. And there's also Milivojevic from Crystal Palace to Nottingham Forest for 4.9 million. So some interesting transfers there. Oxfordshire. Oxford United have signed Solly March from Celtic for 25.5 million, while they've also signed Josh Knight from Spurs for 10.25 million and Andre Almeida from Wolves for 8.75 million. And then it's just them losing players like Rodri. I didn't even know this. The Chelsea player, is that? I don't think it is the Chelsea player, but they've sold him anyway. And Daryl Yanmar, he's gone as well to Preston in Lancashire, so we can talk about that one. And looking out at the rest, not big money for the rest of the league, so there's some catching up to do there. In Shrewsbury, the biggest signing is out of Shrewsbury, but the biggest one in Shrewsbury is them signing in Shropshire, sorry. It's just Shrewsbury are obviously the biggest team there. They've signed Danny Ward from Leicester for 9.75 million, Chancel Mbemba from Derby for 9 million, Christian Romero from Juventus for 7 million, Ryan Bertrand from Southampton for 6.75 million, Nathaniel Klein from Gillingham for 6.5 million, and they've sold a couple of other players. TNS were the biggest signing outside of those of Shrewsbury, 3.4 million for Callum Ainley of Peterborough. Somerset. Yeovil, they've been splashing the cash. James Scott, Lorden Akolbire, Carl McAllister, Raquel Pike and Jack Clark from Hearts, Colchester, Southend and Bradford City respectively for 13 million, 10.5 million, 8.25 million, 1.9 million, and 1.1 million, plus a few others that aren't for under a million, and then we don't need to worry about. In Staffordshire, Stoke have lost Hidde Ter Avest from Stoke for 24.5 million, but instead they've signed Manuel Locatelli from Liverpool for 17 million. They've also lost other players. Burton have spent 10.5 million on Daniel Barlaser from Luton, plus 7.75 million from Amari Bell from Southend. Aidan O'Brien's gone for 7.5 million to Burton from Plymouth, and they've also signed Hiram Boateng from MK Dons for 7 million, and there's other ones as well. Port Vale with the biggest one outside of the top two, 4.2 million for Pascal Struijk from Hibs. Suffolk, we covered this one a little bit earlier, but let's have a proper look at it. 66 million from Ipswich Town for Callum Fehrenbach of Watford. Now that is quite a deal, and no wonder the next biggest signing is only 9 million for Magnus Norman from Hearts. They've also bought Bambo Diaby from Middlesbrough, 7.25 million. But they've lost a bunch of other players, so they probably needed to build the squad a bit more. Surrey, Woking, the biggest one there is only 7.25 million. Josh Barrett from Reading, Tom Moran from Shrewsbury's also joined for 6 million. The rest are under 5 million, and so let's stop wasting time on those. Sussex, and we can see Brighton have made the biggest signing there. 46 million for Timothy Castagne of Barcelona. That's quite a deal. They've got rid of, though, a few players. Sandro, Marco van Ginkel, Pascal Gross and Bojan Radulovic. While the next biggest team to make a signing in Sussex is actually Lewis, who've signed Kazim Aidu for 1.3 million. Crawley have made a couple of signings too, but it's nothing to shout about. In Tyne and Wear, Newcastle, 35.5 million for Marcus Alonso. Decent signing there. They've lost Fernando and Elias Sorensen though for big money. The biggest one for Sunderland, 24.5 million for Dan Ndulu. There we go, got there in the end. However, Newcastle have signed Axel Tuanzebe from Manchester United for 20 million. Sunderland paid 19.5 million for Tom Steele from Rochdale, while Newcastle have lost Martin Dubravka to Nice for 13.5 million and Matty Longstaff to Middlesbrough. We'll cover that one in a minute because Middlesbrough are in Yorkshire, of course. And Stan Dawson, while they've signed Angus Gunn, so they've replaced Dubravka with Angus Gunn pretty much. They've also signed Idrissa Gueye, which I'd say is a great signing, while Sunderland have signed John Guidetti as one of their big signings. Warwickshire, the biggest signing there is Dave Shepherd from Fleetwood to Leamington for 7.5 million. Could someone be finally about to take Stratford's crown? Stratford only spending 2 million, but it's a decent signing. They've signed John Marquis from Portsmouth, he is only 30, so he's still in a decent. He's still got a decent chance of getting some goals. Nuneaton down in only 400,000 for the biggest signing for them. Disappointing. West Midlands, and the biggest signing for a West Midlands side, we have to go all the way down to this one with Callum McGregor joining Aston Villa from Celtic for 17.75 million. Birmingham spent 15 million on Jordan Storey, while West Brom have signed Diego Laxalt from Derby for 12.5 million. Anwar El Ghazi joining RB Salzburg from Aston Villa for 12 million. Walsall spending 12 million on Tom Bradshaw from Huddersfield, 11.5 million for Nicholas Eliasson to go to Aston Villa from Chongqing. They've also spent the same amount on Ryan Burke from Rangers, and while West Brom has spent the same amount on Ben Gibson from Burnley. So that's some big money in the West Midlands, but that's to be expected. Wiltshire and Swindon's big signing is 8.75 million for Adam Nagy of Rangers. They've also spent 8.25 million, 7.25 million on Samuel Shashua and Jack Wadham, respectively. While they've also bought a few others as well, like Kelleroos, Sonny Bradley, Nathan. No signings by anyone other than Swindon in the top part of it anyway, for over $1 million. Worcestershire, Kidderminster splashing the cash, 21 million for Lee Giles from West Ham, 5.75 million for Dave Robinson of Middlesbrough, and 5.25 million for Omar Suwamni of Colchester, among others. There's a bunch of others. They've bought pretty much a whole new team for decent money. Alvechurch with the biggest signing outside of Kidderminster in Worcestershire. And finally Yorkshire and Rotherham have spent 22.5 million on CJ Egan Riley of Portsmouth. Leeds 22 million on Doniel Marlin of Celtic and they've sold Rafa Mujica to Bayer Leverkusen for 20.5 million. Huddersfield have signed Harrison Reed for 18.5 million. Leeds have signed Todd Cantwell for big money, and Sean Maguire from Stoke for big money. I'm just going to call it big money for the time being, so saying the whole thing. Middlesbrough have bought Charlie Musonda from Fulham and Matty Longstaff for 13.5 million, 13.25 million respectively. And Leeds have signed Jack Simpson from Bournemouth for 13 million. And so there's lots of transfers for over 5 million going in Yorkshire. But I think we're going to leave it there because it's 40 minutes now, and that's probably long enough. So until next time, we'll have a look at the Club World Cup draw, because it'll be the 1st of November. We'll see and see how all the tables are doing. And so until then, like, subscribe, and rock on.